Welcome everyone. I'm Miss Liz O and Miss Liz Y is here with me today.
Hi everyone.
This is another installment in our And the Adventure Continues program where we read Choose Your Own Ending books or Choose Your Own Adventures. Today this is called Could You Escape Alcatraz, and it is part of the You Choose book series. It is an interactive survival adventure, so you're going to really like this if you like adventure or survival stories, maybe some of those I Survived books. I think you're going to like this. So a You Choose book is when you read the book, and at the end of each page it's going to give you choices to turn to the next page or turn to another page. And in one story there are multiple storylines and endings. So this one has 3 different paths you can take, 41 choices that you can make, and 20 different endings just in this one story. So let's get started. This is a little bit about your adventure. You are about to become a prisoner at the infamous Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary, nicknamed The Rock. It is famous for keeping dangerous prisoners from escaping, but that won't stop you from trying. Start the story, then follow the directions at the bottom of each page. You may have done wrong in the past, but the choices you make will change the outcome. After you finish one path, go back and read the others to see how the decisions you make change your fate. Do you have what it takes to make it off the rock? You're here, the famous Alcatraz Island. The prison sits 1.25 miles away from the mainland of San Francisco. That's a long swim to freedom. To get here, you were delivered by boat across cold, choppy water. You and the other prisoners were shackled and watched closely by armed guards. When the boat docked, you looked up at the prison, high walls made of stone and brick and topped with barbed wire. Frigid wind tousled your hair and chilled your skin. As you stepped onto the island, you were searched and given a prison uniform. Then you were assigned a cell. Now this one says, turn to the next page. All this time, you looked carefully around you, noting every detail of your surroundings. How high the fence was, how long the hallway was, how thick those iron bars were. Already thinking of escape. Could it be done? Everyone knows Alcatraz is inescapable. Now that you've been here a while, you have to admit it just might be. Even if you were to somehow get out of your cell, out of the building, over the walls, past the machine gun towers, and across the bay to the mainland, then what? You would be cold, wet, without money or transportation, and you'd be wearing a prison uniform. Blending in would be a real problem. Where would you go after that? But here's an even bigger problem. Life on the rock is hard. It's boring, harsh, and often violent. Meanwhile, a life of freedom teases you like the sunshine that occasionally peeks over the high prison yard walls. Maybe no one has escaped the rock before. Maybe you won't be able to do it either, but you have to give it a shot. Success will depend on the person you choose to be. Pick wisely. So at this point in the book, you have to choose, the reader chooses what type of criminal you're going to be, what kind of person you're going to be. So we have 3 choices, and Miss Liz Y is going to help make those choices. First choice is be an athlete with great strength and endurance. Second choice, to be a highly intelligent criminal mastermind. Or third choice, to be a mechanic who can build anything.
Those are all really tempting options, but I think I'm going to go with option number 2, the highly intelligent criminal mastermind.
All right, and that tells us to turn to page 43. That's a good choice.
Yeah, I think it might have the most success.
You have made a career out of escaping from prisons. You have taken an early vacation from 3 others before. You don't think Alcatraz will be any different. The first time you were just 16. You stole a car for fun and got sent to the county jail. You escaped by distracting the guard at dinner, and then you hit him over the head with his own gun. You stayed out of trouble for a while, but at age 20, you were caught in an armed robbery. This time you were sent to federal prison in Kansas. There your cellmate was an older guy who recognized your intelligence and keen skills. His name was Clancy, and he helped you better understand how to case a prison and figure out escape routes. He taught you how to time the guards on their rounds, watch them interact, and learn which ones aren't too smart. He told you how to figure out which ones have a big ego that you can use to your advantage. You should make friends with the old timers so you can learn their secrets. He even taught you about prison architecture. You escaped that prison within the year, but you were caught robbing a store a couple years later, returning to prison once again. This time, you escaped and lived in hiding for years, fooling the authorities. When they finally caught you, the arresting agent advised the judge to send you to a place where escape would be impossible. That meant one thing. You went to the Rock. I guarantee you won't escape that, the judge said, and you took it as a challenge. You haven't been here long when another prisoner recognizes you. Kelly approaches you in the yard, and he tells you that he was in the Kansas prison when you broke out. I know a way out of here, he says. He wants to team up with you to escape from Alcatraz. So here's where we make another choice. There's two choices. To team up with Kelly, turn to page 46, or to go it alone, turn to page 48.
I don't know. Sometimes there is power in numbers, so let's go with Kelly.
Okay. All right. Let's go to page 46. It's cold out in the yard today, and Kelly isn't wearing his jacket. Tough guy. Yeah, and you remember him. All right, you say. You glance around to make sure nobody is listening. What's this big secret you have? Buddy of mine worked in maintenance some years ago, Kelly says. He took a fan out of a ceiling shaft above our cell block. He was supposed to repair it and put it back. But you know how things go. He got pulled off on another job. That fan never went back in. So the shaft is open, you say. All we have to do is get up there. From there, we can get to the roof. That night, you stare at your ceiling in your cell and imagine the open shaft. How can you get up there? You can study the guards for a couple weeks and try to figure out their patterns. Maybe they'll give you a clue. On the other hand, maybe there's a way to dig out of your cell. So now we get to make another choice. So here are our choices. To study the guards, turn to page 50, or to dig your way out, 53.
Well, we are a criminal mastermind, so I think we should be able to dig our way out.
Okay.
So let's see what happens.
All right, let's go with dig your way out. You tell Kelly that you think there's a way to dig out of the cells, but you need a good tool. Then you sit and wait patiently for something to happen. One day in the yard, Kelly slips you something wrapped in cloth. Back in your cell, you carefully open it up. It's a drill bit. He really is well connected. That night, you choose the drill bit to scrape around the air vent under your sink. The vent leads to the air shaft. Chunks of concrete start falling off. Each night you work for a couple of hours while Kelly keeps lookout. When a guard enters the cell block, Kelly gives 2 quick taps on the bars of his cell. That's your signal to move clothes in front of the grate and get quickly into bed. And at this point, this is where I am going to pause in our story so that you can come in and check out this book and continue the story and find out what happens. And then find out 20 of these other endings that we have in here. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.